Hey, what's up guys? It's Ben10000YGO, your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero. And today guys, we're going to talk about 10 cards that are going to make me turn evil! Anyway guys, stick around because we're going to trigger me. Alright, so, like the intro said, we're going to talk about the 10 cards in this game that I love, that I also love to hate. So, starting off at number 10, and the early ones are kind of going to be the ones that are more just annoying, that I actually like hate them, but as we get further down the list, I'll actually hate these cards. So, starting off at number 10, the one that I hate the least is Macros Cosmos. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, Ben, we know you play heroes. You play Dark Law. Dark Law is Macros Cosmos on legs. And you right. You right. Call me a hypocrite. That's okay. That doesn't mean that I can't hate Macros Cosmos though. Because I do hate Macros Cosmos. Because Macros Cosmos, I have a history of hate with that card. As you guys know, I'm also a Lightsworn player when I can be. When the format permits me to play Lightsworn. In some way, shape, or form, I play Lightsworn. And Macros Cosmos, I hate with an absolute passion because I still remember Macro Rabbit, as they called it, where I couldn't play Lightsworn for sure. So it's more of a history hate there than anything. And then, of course, as a Lightsworn player, of course, I hate the similar cards. You know, I even hate Dark Law to a point, but Macros Cosmos is the number one.
I'll teach you to laugh at something that's funny.
I can kaiju a Dark Law. I can't kaiju a Macros Cosmos, unfortunately. And then, of course, if I could use Twin Twister or MST, but, you know, if I use Twin Twister, I lose the card. I have to hopefully hit something else, but that I digress. Next one. Sky Striker Ace Ray. You're thinking, why do you hate that? That's their only monster. And I'm like, you're right, but it has one effect that I absolutely can't stand. It has the ability to come back when a Link monster is destroyed. I hate that. I just hate that. Like, I get rid of a Link monster, right? One of their Sky Striker Link monsters, and oh look, she's back. And then she gets to go, oh, you like me? You don't like me? That's okay. I'll tag out for a bigger pain in the ass. Blink, and next thing you know, I'm dealing with the same Link monster I just struggled to get rid of in the first place. It's just infuriating. Hulk smash! Ah, that's what that does to me. Because I'm like, I just used cards to get rid of your card, and instead your card is still here. It's very frustrating. Number 8 on the list is a Pendulum Monster, Mythical Beast, Jackal King. I really can't stand that one because of, it's mostly just because I feel like it's going to get abused in the Endymion deck. Like, I'm looking at multiple negates, and I think it's bull because these multiple negates are going to come out of a Pendulum archetype, so they don't have to Link Summon, they don't have to Synchro Summon, Xyz, nothing. They don't have to go through all the hoops that all my favorite decks have to go through to put negators on the board. Which I'm kind of like... But there you go. Alright. Number 7 on the list that I can't stand is Inspector Border. You guys probably saw this one coming. I can't stand Inspector Border because it's played in a deck that I absolutely can't stand, and that's True Dracos. But that's just because they play it, Inspector Border, and play another card that's later on this list, which we'll talk about. But Inspector Border is like, yeah, you can't activate effects if you don't have extra deck monsters on the field, which, by the way, I'm going to throw all this back row out there so you'll never get one. And I'm just like, if I could force choke people through the YGO Pro people, there'd be a lot less people on YGO Pro. That's a horrible joke, but it is just a joke. Next one is very similar to Inspector Border. It's in the same vein, and that is Azathoth. You guys probably saw this coming, but I really hate it because I feel like if the time space Xyz monster didn't exist, we wouldn't see this card as much. So, or the time thief Xyz monster, I should say, and that's why I'm annoyed by it, because I feel like if that didn't exist, we wouldn't have this Azathoth crap happening left and right, and it's all over YGO Pro. It's a plague, and yeah, everyone's this Azathoth combo. It's all danger Azathoth deck. Deck is all it really is. And it's just a more pain in the ass Inspector Border. Bigger, harder to get around, and even if I attack it, it doesn't do anything, because that means on the next turn they're just gonna pummel me, so... Again, I'm just like... Yeah. Alright. Number 5. Now we're actually getting into the cards I really, really hate. And that is... Number 5 is a very triggering card. Is Subterran Fiend. What jackass at Konami Incorporated thought, hey, let's give a searchable effect veiler to Subterrors? I hate that person. Looking at you, a random Konami employee. I'm hating you right now. I'm wishing I was allowed to legally slap you in the face. Be like, Don't create crap like this. I just am like, ugh, it irritates me. Especially because they can also like, ugh. And then they go plus off of it in the deck itself. So it's like, double infuriating. So it's like, Guru, flip it face down, I'll search again in the same turn, negate your stuff, I'll get another Fiendus, do it again. It's like, it's gonna make me pull my hair out. And then I won't be Ben 10,000, I'll be, I don't remember what the grandpa's name is, I'll be Grandpa 10,000 because I'll be bald from pulling my hair out. The next one is in the a similar vein to it, because these are both archetypes that ironically DZ likes. So, and that's Altergeist Silic We, and that's number 4 on the list. Altergeist Silic We, just it's and I've mentioned this in the 10 decks I hate deck video I made a while back, but this video is just 10 individual cards I hate. And I really hate Silic We because I really hate anything that is like Magispectre or Unicorn, or basically anything that's like a carbon copy of a Compulse on legs that can just keep compulsing. I'm all against those cards. Like, I'm like, no, none of that needs to exist. If you're gonna have that stuff, no. Hashtag nope. And it's so infuriating because there are these archetypes that have it's especially Silic We. It's kind of the same problem with the Jackal King and various other cards that are probably, you notice on the list, that I can't stand. It's very much, it's a card that they don't have to work for. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to throw out a card that is a disruptor, you know, very much like the Silic We, and have it consistent, I have to play, you know, I either have to play like Pankratops because it's the closest to a generic Silic We, and it doesn't even bounce, it just destroys something, which is really, that's not really that comparable. And then, you know, and Silic We is actually better because it sticks around, but I digress. The point that I'm making is I have to do something like that, or, you know, and you know, the archetypes that I personally enjoy, I have to work to summon a monster that can do that, and that's the issue with that deck, is it doesn't. It's just like, it makes like 2 plays, and then it goes Silic We and the random other monster. Bounce this monster, bounce your monster. You'll never attack me. Now we have our first, I believe, hand trap on this list is Infinite Impermanence. Now you guys are thinking, wait a minute, Effect Veiler's not on your list, and you play Effect Veiler. You're right, I do. But I hate Infinite Impermanence. Not because it's an Effect Veiler-esque card. It's not, it's a monster effect negation, the part that bothers me. It's that it's harder to out. So I have to buy a specific counter trap, red reboot, if I want to have a main deckable out to Impermanence. But unlike with Effect Veiler, you know, like a lot of decks are already main decking Called by the Grave to say screw you to hand traps like Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler. You know what I mean? They have Called by the Grave, but there's no Called by... I have to main a whole nother card to stop Impermanence, so you see where the frustration is. It's like, oh look, now I have to play... I have to throw in another set of cards for defense to stop this one particular hand trap, and that's like, you know, if I'm playing some jank deck, like, you know, or old deck, I should say, not jank, like Dragoonides. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to play pure Dragoonides, I've got to have every back row or, you know, hand trap hate card in existence to even make the deck even remotely viable. You get the idea. The next one is, now we're into the top 2 cards I can't stand, and number 2 on the list is Monarchs Erupt. Why do I hate this card? Because it doesn't get played in Monarchs, it gets played in True Draco, and they can use it better than Monarchs. And I'm annoyed by it because I feel like it's a one-sided skill drain. And it would be one thing if Monarchs had just had a skill drain, you know what I mean? Like if it was like, okay, well, we have skill drain. Okay, I could tolerate that. That means no monster effects for anybody. I can tolerate that. If you want to make this into a fist fight, great. I'm all about it. All right, you want to turn Yu-Gi-Oh into let's punch each other deck basically, and have a fight, you know, with our monsters. Great. That's what I prefer that game. Let's play that game. But but Monarch Erupts doesn't do that. It's not a skill drain where it's just big monster versus big monster now. It's I get big monster with my special abilities and my superpowers, as Jaden would put it, and your monster gets no powers at all. He loses all his things. It'd be like Superman stuck in an armor of kryptonite fighting the Hulk. Yeah, totally seems fair. But you get the point. And then the last card on the list is going to harken, and this one probably won't surprise you guys if you saw the 10 decks that I hate as a whole. Necrovalley. It's the #1 card in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That I hate. And the reason why I hate Necrovalley is because all of my favorite decks are hurt by it. I'm absolutely biased in this video. I'm not even going to pretend otherwise. But Necrovalley, I can't stand it. I mean, I don't want to ban it, obviously, because I feel like if it got banned, like, that's Gravekeeper's gone, and I don't really feel like that's fair to the Gravekeepers either. But part of me hates that deck so much, like Light Swarms, Dinosaurs, Dragoonides, Blue Eyes. I mean, all of these decks need the graveyard, and none of them, I mean, even Heroes to a point, I mean, like, legitimately, a lot of these decks need their graveyard, need to be able to banish cards from the graveyard to continue plays, or to, you know, or bring cards back. I mean, so Necrovalley, I really can't, especially since they errated it and made it stronger. That's where I'm kind of like, what the hell, Konami? Because Konami, I mean, it used to not do that. Used to, Necrovalley would just say, okay, well, you can't bring monsters back from the graveyard. But it didn't say anything about making them leave the graveyard by being banished. It used to just say you couldn't summon them back. Now you can't even banish them, so I'm like, which means, basically it means it locks out any kind of chaos monster. It'll lock out, if it's in your hand, for example. It'll lock out, like, for example, if Fairy Tale Snow was still legal in the game, she couldn't even pay the cost to summon it from the graveyard. And I find it absolutely frustrating. It's one of the most vexing cards on the planet, and to me, I'm like, why do we not have, like, personally, if I had my way, I would just have a alternative Necrovalley. Like, I don't know, I would make another field spell for Gravekeepers, limit Necrovalley, like, to 1, and then the other field spell, on the field, its name is Necrovalley. And it just does something completely different and more boosting for the Gravekeepers, less oppressive to the opponent. Like, I wouldn't, and that's another thing why I can't stand it, is because Necrovalley also gives all the Gravekeeper monsters a 500 attack boost on top of locking me out of my graveyard. I'm like, seriously? Seriously, Konami? Why do you hate graveyard-based decks? Ugh. So the Gravekeepers, basically, they're keeping the grave alright by locking everything down. And apparently triggering Ben. Alright guys, so just in case you guys play any of the decks, I want to let you guys know, if you play any of these decks that play these cards, please continue to play them. I don't hate you specifically. I just find those cards annoying, and those are the cards that are going to really, you know, I'm not going to lie to you guys, they're going to piss me off if you play them. Not even gonna pretend otherwise. But don't feel ashamed just because Ben doesn't like those decks, alright? If you enjoy them, you do you, boo. But me, personally, I hate those decks. I mean, I might play stuff that's similar to it, I'll admit that. I mean, I'm human. We're all hypocrites in one way or another. And in my case, you know, I play some monsters that are very similar to these. Not even gonna pretend otherwise. But, you know, these are the 10 cards that specifically just will make me, like, you know, have a hair trigger. You know, and send me into a, you know, world of, why you little... You know? Alright guys, just to let you guys know, I'm still in a race with Yusei YGO Pro, so if you guys want to help me accelerate past him, make sure you hit that sub button and let me accelerate past him in the subscribers. And if you like this video, if you enjoyed watching me, you know, relive everything that drives me nuts, make sure you hit that like button. Let me know I'm doing good here. If you guys don't know, I actually made another video recently about the new rules tournament-wise, so you should check that out and tell me what you guys think. Anyway, guys, I'm Ben2000YGO, your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.